Yeah.
Nick had these ready for us. I said I would be open for them, so.
Okay. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority. Today's date is July 10th, right?
Yep.
July 10th, and the time is 5:30. And so we're going to take a pause a little bit. I do like starting on time. And the good thing for everybody here is we're going to finish about in record time.
Okay.
We're going to finish it early. So we'll let Nick get back here, do a roll call. Derek did send me a message saying that he wouldn't be able to, something came up, he wouldn't be able to be here tonight. Told him no problem, we're not voting on anything, but he's going to miss a great presentation from our incredible and just continually improving school district. I think we should all be very proud of the work they've done over the last couple of years, because that answers a lot of things for a community. So, when we get to the thing about the Pueblo URA,
Yeah.
when you two are going to just do that, we'll let Tara catch us up next time she's in. Send good thoughts. She just is in surgery, so we'll send her communal good thoughts.
Did she have surgery already?
She was
Scheduled. Date or
I think it's her surgery was.
It actually got moved. Of course. It got moved like right before the 4th. So she had she had 2 surgeries, one on the 3rd and one on the 4th actually. So yeah, so
Fireworks.
Talk to her. Yeah, okay. Talk to her the day she's doing.
She doing okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. Nick, we can jump into roll call.
Bagley.
Here.
Hecht. Here. Welch.
Here.
McNeil.
Here.
Thomas. Howlett.
Here. Okay, so minutes. We missed a month of minutes, so we're catching up twice. So is anybody, they're in the packet. Hopefully folks have had a chance to look at that. You got these digitally, maybe you could look at those pre-meeting. But I'm going to include both of those, so we're going to take a motion to, is there any changes, any modifications of the minutes, anything somebody saw that we didn't record correctly?
I'll make a motion to accept those.
Okay.
Minutes for both months.
Second.
Excellent. Financial reports. We have.
You want to do a roll call?
Yep.
On the minutes real quick.
Yep, please.
Bagley.
Yes.
Hecht. Yes. Welch.
Yes.
McNeil.
Yes.
Howlett.
Yes. Okay, financial reports. You've got those. We haven't spent any dollars, and one of the things that we had when we went up to the Pueblo URA visit was very, very good. And we'll get to that in a minute. Very, very good. They're going to be like our big brother that's really smart and is very successful teaching us stuff. Okay, so that was awesome. We've talked to now the city manager, our new city manager, and we're going to try and come into one project. Okay, so we've been keeping our powder dry for a little bit. We've got the financials before us to kind of just approve where they are. But we may be deploying some of those things in a project here this year, and we'll bring that in the next work session of how we're going to do it. We're basically going to be trying to get a pitch fest going with building owners and saying, what do you want to do? And we'll try and figure out how we can do that. So, anybody have any questions or comments on the financial report? Not hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve.
Second.
And a roll call, please.
Welch is the motion. Is there a second?
Is there a second?
I'll solve it.
Okay.
Threw us a curveball, coming out there with a second.
Yeah.
Right out
Second
there.
first.
All right.
It's all good.
Oh, with the change up, okay.
Yeah.
We can work with that.
All good.
Consideration.
Oh, let me
Go ahead.
Roll call real quick.
Roll call.
Bagley.
Yes.
Hecht. Yes. Welch.
Yes.
McNeil. Yes. Howlett.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Consideration bills, there's none before us, is that correct, Nick? Or are there?
I think the only bill was
The end.
it might be at the end, yeah. That's the invoice for let me take a look. Oh no, for Tara's yes. The planning assistant.
Okay.
That's the only bill.
Okay. We sure love paying that one.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Excellent.
I'll second that.
Excellent. And roll call?
Bagley.
Yes.
Hecht. Yes. Welch.
Yes.
McNeil.
Yes.
Howlett.
Yes. All right, so we kind of hurried on that thing because
Thank you, guys.
we don't like keeping people waiting, especially when they got good news to share. And so we're joined today, so right now, is there anyone in the audience who would like to come forward to address TURA board? If so, come forward. Deanna and Olivia from our, from TSD 1, number 1, means everything right now. And we have our superintendent, and we have a principal of high school. And
middle school.
middle school.
612 principal.
Yeah,
Yes.
612 principal.
Yes.
There's like a bunch of hats in that thing. Joining us today. Commissioner Heck, we had visited here maybe a month or so ago, and there's some opportunities, maybe no opportunities directly from TURA to the school district. But I think there's some things we can do still to make sure that we're collaborating. We're bringing what influence we have to there now. I'm also president of the Calexico Alliance, what used to be the Chamber of Commerce, which is now 2 states, 3 counties, 9 municipalities. We want to work with you guys badly.
Oh.
Okay, we've made attempts out there. So please give us an update of kind of where you are, maybe some opportunities that are available for us. I'll preface this. Communities really work with a couple of real anchors, and when we get anybody talking to us about moving in, taking over any of our buildings, bringing businesses here, most of the time they're asking about our schools. Schools and housing end up being 2 of those big anchors that you have to have, and if you don't have them, it makes you really hurt. So there's healthcare, there's economy, there's other kind of things. But our schools had some challenges. You have to invest in these things. It's very hard in rural areas, and this group of folks, you're here, and some of your predecessors have done a great job over the last couple of years. Brooke is somebody I know Brooke she's a consultant there, and she just gushes about what you guys have done. So please share some information with us if you would.
Sure, absolutely. So thank you. Again, I'm Dina Pacelli. I'm the 612 principal. I've been in the district for 33 years. And so I just want to say some good things that are happening. So like Pat said, we're not without our challenges, but we have really have risen to overcome those challenges, right? So people aren't flocking here to apply for jobs or in the area, right? Education is just really difficult since COVID. But I'll tell you what, we have some solid teachers in Trinidad. We really do. We have some very committed teachers that have been there a number of years, and some new teachers that have really just, as Mr. H, he's one of those, have joined our teams. And so we're really proud of the traditions we have. We have a lot of tradition in Trinidad. We are making a lot of ground with achievement, state and local achievement. We're, 2 of our schools, which is Fishers Peak Elementary and Trinidad Middle School, are on performance at the state level, which is the highest level you can get at the state. Our high school is just 1 level down, and we're working on that. At these last 2 years, we've really made a focus with that. So our achievements coming up, we work as a family, we're coming together. We have a lot of opportunities for kids at the high school. We don't only have our academia round, but we do have a lot of CTE options for our students. So we have construction, we have business round, we have multimedia, we have culinary arts. We just are going to be in a big opportunity now grant with through BOCES that's going to bring in a great construction grant for our high school, where kids can go in and our local area kids too, like Primero and Honey, can come and participate in that, where kids can get certified and then go out into the workforce and be able to be hireable. And so along with the academics, we haven't had a huge turnover at Trinidad Middle School in the last couple of years. 3 years ago, we had 100% retention. It's gone down since then because people's lives change and they've got to move on and do what's best for their families. At the high school, we're building the high school. They had a lot of turnover previously, but now we're starting to get solid there as well. We've brought back some CTE programs like automotive and preschool, and Ms. Pachicha can jump in here anytime.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
We brought a lot of those programs back for this next year because we've had the interest, we've had candidates. We want to provide those pathways for students. We also have what's called Emerging Campus, which gives us internships, not just in those areas that I just mentioned. It could be in areas where we don't have that kind of economy here, but they bring in those business like engineering and cybersecurity. And I mean, the list could go on and on and on. And so we have a lot of opportunities for our kids that I don't think we do a good enough job of communicating in our district. We just, in our community. Mm-hmm. I just think we need to do a better job of that. And I know Mrs. Buchicha is a native from Trinidad, as I am, and we are both graduates from the district, and so we've come back to give back. And Mrs. Buchicha worked there many years prior to coming back as the superintendent. Mm-hmm. She was, and she can tell you, the position she held prior to that. But I just think that says a lot when you have staff that is from the community that maybe has gone away and come back and is giving back to the district and believes in the district and its traditions and the kids. We just have we have after school programs at the middle level that help with tutoring. We have a K-12 STEM opportunity for our kids. So we have a STEM lab at Fisher's Peak, we have a STEM lab at Trinidad Middle School, and we have a STEM lab at Trinidad High School. So we have opportunities that we have completely online at Trinidad High School. So kids really don't, if traditional brick and mortar doesn't work for them, then we have an opportunity for them to take complete online, so they don't need to go to Connections Academy or K-12 or Goal or anywhere else, and we just need to market that more. I think we just, maybe in the past have had the thought that, create it and they will come. No, we've got to go out there and get it. And so that's what we're doing. This is just my second year being 612 principal. I was given that position last year. I was the middle school principal for a number of years. And so I think all of us working together now with the same direction and the same focus, which is giving kids opportunities, making sure kids are, okay social emotionally, and making sure that we're providing what they need in solid teachers that are highly qualified, that we're not. And so I think and then being able to give them an online version too. Maybe we don't have German at Trinidad High School, but they can take that with this online program that we're doing. So those opportunities are just so many for them. And I don't think a lot of people know that. And like you said, when people move in here, I think the perception is, we're a rural school district. We don't have those things to offer to kids, but we do. We really do, and we just need to get that word out. And I know Mrs. Buchicha, since she's been back, has really trying to get that out, that word out, saying, we are and should be the school of choice for anybody that moves in the area.
Please share.
Yes, so I'm Ms. Pachicha. I was with the district for 27 years. Before moving on for 7 years, I've been the vice president of Generation Schools Network, doing consultant work and conferences, presentations, worked in schools with school improvement in Arizona and Colorado, so across the state. It was a great opportunity for me because I was really able to see how other places do things, and honestly, we're pretty much all on the same island, just to let y'all know. So I'm very grateful that I was able to come back to the school district because, as she said, I've lived here my entire life, graduated from there, as did my father, my grandmother, and great-grandmother, and my children. So, we definitely bleed blue. Two things I want to share that she didn't mention. Fisher's Peak Elementary and Trinidad Middle School are both lighthouse schools for The Leader in Me, which is through the 7 Habits, if you are familiar with Sean Covey, so which is a huge honor for our district as well. It really promotes Every Child Has Genius, and you can see that those things are happening as the kids are coming up through the grade levels, and just the leadership the kids are really taking on those leadership roles, so that's a really exciting thing as well. Like she said, with the Emerging Campus and the Construction Hub, we're getting opportunities not only for our own students to look at different pathways, but for area schools as well. They're going to be allowed to come on campus if we have slots available, and their districts will bus them to our construction hub classes. And so that's really exciting too, because I think, we're all one community. We, especially those of us that have lived here our whole lives. And yes, Honey's here, and Kermau's here, and Aguilar's here, but we're all the same people. Everyone is connected somehow. And so I think it's really important that we really put that message out there that we're all here for all of our kids. So I think it'll be a good opportunity for those children and our children to come together really and be like working in a different environment instead of just maybe just competition with athletics or something like that. So I'm excited for that. We just truly are trying to promote, like she said, we should be and want to be the district of choice or school of choice for the children here in Trinidad. I did put an article out end of May. I took a whole page in the Chronicle, is it the Chronicle or World Journal? World Journal. Just kind of like showcasing everything that's happening, because like she said, people don't know what they don't know. And there are just so many opportunities that we're providing for our kiddos, especially at the secondary level, but across the board. The sense of family is probably one of the most important things that I think we can offer to our families and our children. Our students and families need to know that when they come there, that their kids are taken care of and cared for, because kids don't care what we know until they know that we care. Right. And so, really promoting that, and I see that happening. It's been, they've had some opportunities through the years to do some work through bullying prevention and ears, and you can see those trainings that the teachers have had, and Leader in Me, it just is resonating. As far as, our hopes and dreams for next year, in addition to doing what Ms. Picelli stated as far as changing some of the options at the high school, we are hoping to get a new turf football field. Our football field will be 100 years old in 2026, and that's not fabricated at all. I have the pictures to prove it, and it hasn't changed in 100 years. We added a announcer's box or that, but the stadium itself and the field has not changed. And so kudos to Trinidad School District 1 for taking such wonderful care of it, honestly, and keeping it good for our community. But it's time, because we also have a soccer team that was it in 1999 maybe? So they've always played at Central Park. Like, the soccer team has never had an actual field, so they would have one with this turf football soccer field. Also our track, our kids have practiced on the coal silt. That's what they used to put on the track years ago. Now it's just dirt. So we're looking at doing a 3-lane rubber track, and the reason for that is because if we were to do an 8-lane regulation to hold track meets, we would have to cut into the 100-year-old historic stadium, and the football field would then shift and it wouldn't be center anymore. So the stadium wouldn't be on the, you wouldn't be on the 50-yard line. And so our committee, we have a committee that's been working diligently since March, and they, we've had a lot of feedback and gathered some data on what people are thinking about that, and that historical aspect of the stadium. We've decided to just do with a 3-lane track so the kids can at least practice, and because our track team is doing really well, and so we're looking for that as well. And then just some landscaping on the sides of the stadium. If you've been there, we have the tee. And the tee's not going anywhere. Right?
Yeah, that was concerned.
Everybody was worried about the tee, because the freshmen always whitewash the rocks every year, and that's been a tradition since 1926. I mean, it's in the picture. So no, but we thought, like, on the side where the band performs underneath there, it's just weeds, and we thought we could get like maybe some artificial turf or grass, so families can sit there with blankets, like make it a little bit more comfortable for them to come for whatever they might be there for, whether it be especially soccer. So we're just hoping to do some upgrades for the kids, because they compete, and they're competing in an environment that, our football field, if you stand on one side, and Nick could probably attest to this, I'm not sure, and you're looking to the other side, you can't see the people on the other side, because the crown has gotten so high, and the grass is beautiful, because our custodian maintenance crew take wonderful care of it, but it really is, not safe. I mean, there's potholes, there's, all kinds of different things. So we have been doing, and not, when I say we, I mean collectively adults and students, because this is all about the students. They have been amazing. We have a GoFundMe page right now, but we also did 7 Feet Trail Days, and we had a tent, and our students went around walking with the helmet, feel the helmet, and they had their jerseys on, boys and girls, passing out flyers. And I'm going to tell you, we had minor swag all over Trinidad that day, right? Because they were handing out free pom-poms and footballs and just fun stuff. But the best part about that day, we were able to get some money, but the best part about that day was that networking that those kids did. And the community saw our kids. We were out there. And they were talking, and so we had so many compliments on, wow, what great kids. Yeah, I know, we have great kids. So that day was productive for that reason, most definitely, was just letting them know that it matters to the kids. So, so we've done different things. We're still in the process of looking at different options, but anything that anyone could do to help us, we'd appreciate. But, so...
Thank
Do you have any questions?
We might. We're going to go to that.
Okay.
Any questions or comments? We'll start over here.
Well, I just want to thank you because my kids benefited from you guys.
I know, I told her, I said, that's what they do.
We're sure.
Yeah, I taught both of you
And,
guys.
yeah, right. And Jeremy's doing real well, and our daughter, we went through all these different things at the school, so I am a recipient of, as a grateful parent for their hard work.
Thank you.
So, and to Commissioner Hecht, being a school teacher there, I would say that Trinidad High was a great experience for my son. He did really well, and he excelled. He's an engineer, and he's done all the different things, but he got to start there. And so I'm all in for anything that we can help them with, because I know how hard it is to get support, especially when you go through rough times, and people are always lobbing something at you no matter what. But our kids, they benefited from your hard work.
Thank you.
And they were able to excel, and they couldn't have done it without you guys. So I know that whatever we could do as a board here, I'd like to participate. I would like to be part of that. I don't know what that means yet, Pat. So, but at the same time, I just let you know that I'm all in. So,
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you for your hard work.
Yeah, thank you.
Really not much. I know that I've got to be all in on this one too, because most of my family were teachers back in the day. My grandfather was the principal of the high school years ago.
Toronto,
so-
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. We were wondering which Welch you were. I'll be honest with you, yeah. And-
So, I'm not trying to get haunted by any ghosts, so I gotta.
You better get on board, right?
No.
Very good. Very good.
Well, I'm glad that you're able to come down. To be honest, I had asked the principal and superintendent to come down and present what's happening at the school, because it's amazing. And I was amazed, actually shocked, when I came in because of the things I had heard, negative things about the school system. And I was so pleasantly surprised. And I've been in the game for over 40 years, so I do have a little bit of background in this. And because I was lucky enough to get a great education, and you folks were too, and I understand how important it is, and I know that the pillars of any community that's going to grow, you have to have jobs, not minimum wage either. You have to have decent jobs. And then if you have a decent job, you're going to spend money. And if you spend money in our community, everybody benefits. And if you do have a decent job, you have to have housing, which is one of the main reasons that URA exists. So we need to get attainable and affordable housing in this small city. And then a third thing is, and this is the thing that I was so surprised at, when parents come in with their, if they have families and they're looking to relocate, they're going to ask about the school system.
Mm-hmm.
And if they hear that the school system is great all right, and that the kids are gonna have a lot of opportunities, then it's just a plus for everybody. And that's the reason why I actually asked you to come down here, because we need to have everybody spread the word. Everybody has to say, the school system is great. These are the things that they're doing. These are the opportunities that they have for our kids. And then maybe we can attract some of these people, you know, to come down here and work and live in the city and spend their money, which we're always interested in. And, you know, whatever way we are able to help, as Commissioner Bagley said, Commissioner Wells, we're going to do that. We're going to support you. And we're going to discuss over the next few meetings, I'm sure, the possibilities.
Yeah.
And that's, I appreciate you coming down.
No,
That's
thank
what
you
we
for having
appreciate,
us.
yes.
Yes,
Please.
absolutely.
Couple of quick questions. Being in small town southern Colorado, lots of people complain about Denver doesn't know we exist. Does Denver know that the Trinidad School District #1, the first school district in the
oldest.
state of Colorado, are you seeing any, what do I want to say, interest or response? I mean, what kind of, are there statewide programs? Because we see it in the news that, oh, the legislators are talking about this and talking about that. Are you seeing anything? Are you seeing any money? Are you seeing any support for public education in Los Angeles County?
Yes. We have several grants through the Colorado Department of Ed. I mentioned a few of them earlier: BPEG, EARS, COAT,
Counselor Core.
Counselor Core. We had
Opportunity now because it's through BOCES, but it's still, you know, it's all funded from the federal government, but it's regulated by the state.
Right.
And so, yeah, we have several grants that we have to apply for, of course, and then, you know, implement them.
Yeah,
So-
you have to keep the paperwork
Going.
Correct.
rolling.
Correct.
And one other thing is, you know, Dina and I and Shoni, the elementary principal, we are and always have been members of CASE, and always, you know, Dina sat as the legislative. She went to Washington D.C. for that, you know, in a couple of years in the lobby. But so we're actively involved in those northern entities where we have the experience and conversations with people from up north. So we also learn from opportunities that we might not have heard down here, but the networking that we've had over because I've been 33 years in education as well, we have those networks, which has been really good. But we do get forgotten sometimes. I'm not going to say that we don't, because we do. You know, obviously our funding's not as great. We don't get, you know, different opportunities like
Size matters.
yeah, size matters,
Yeah, for
absolutely.
sure.
So we have to hey, we're down here. We have to get noticed, like she said earlier. But so I think it's a combination for sure.
You know, and I think they're always willing to help. You know, and one thing that I think we're trying to do a better job of is grow our own. You know, get our maybe our classified staff that comes in maybe as a para or something, and start growing them as teachers. And we've done a lot of that through the T-Prep program, which is offered through Trinidad State. Yeah, and I did mention that we do have concurrent enrollment classes too for kids that are in high school, so they can take classes at the college and earn double credit, like high school credit to graduate plus college credit. And if they're, you know, ambitious enough, they can actually graduate with an associate's degree from Trinidad State. And we've had kids to do that. You know, they do both. And I'm sure probably Nick, did you take?
Oh, I was like a class or two short. So.
2 classes short. Yeah,
very
close to that. Yeah, so my own children did that, and Spachicha's
Well, I
children.
think that's a value proposition for parents, because parents are looking at college costs that are completely out of
And it's
control.
completely free.
And if their kids have already got a 2-year college certification upon high school graduation, then there's only 2 more years of college
That's
that they have
correct.
to worry about. So
Yep.
I think that's phenomenal. One other question: are you? I'm assuming part of the reason you're the principal, 612 principal, is the success you had in middle school that I'm well aware of. Are you finding it possible to translate the discipline and the just the general organization and management that you had brought to the middle school. Are you finding receptivity to that in the high school? Because that's
Absolutely. That doesn't happen overnight.
no.
So we already saw a shift last year, and it's word of mouth. If you ask people, they're going to say that. Even if you ask kids, they'll say that. It's different there, yes. When you're fully vested, I think it makes a difference, right? And I think that building is beginning to move in the right direction with exactly what you're saying: discipline, the structure, the instruction. The looking at data, doing all the things that we do at the elementary and the middle school are carrying over to the high school now. And so yes, that will become something in the future that you'll see the change there.
Yeah,
I think you can hire for your.
You
Yeah.
good?
good. Yeah.
And then we just hired an assistant principal that's going to be 6'12",
Yeah.
and he's from the community, and he's coming back to the community, and he is been in education for over 18 plus years. He's been a coach, a dean, an assistant principal, substitute. So I think that's going to be really a good example too for our kids, and being able to come back here and just generate that positivity and get involved. And I just think he's going to be one of those people.
Very
Yeah.
good. So a couple things. First of all, when Commissioner Heck said, Pat, we need to talk. There's some things going on in the school district. We need to see where we can help.
Mhm.
Okay. One of the things we said, let's bring him in here because I agree. You have a story that needs to be told. It's not being told, but it's still a great story. We have good news to share, and we just need to share that news. So this is being filmed, and people do watch this, and so this is our first kind of thing there. I always feel, and have felt this way for decades, that it's sad that where a kid's zip code is dictates so much of what that kid's jump start is. That the launch pad is predicated on property tax. And this body actually will work in property tax. And we'll talk another time with regard to some things we can do in the legislature to open that up. There's some resistance there, but one of the things I did here a couple of years ago is we had a first bite at an apple on that NEST grant, and the community said no to it. And I went in and said, listen, I'd like to take that on. And I knocked on every business door in this community. I knocked on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of doors of homes in this thing, and I had signs out on the roundabout and all those things, and we did the smart thing, and we got that. And in getting that, we had heat in schools, we had cool stuff. We had a STEM lab. Our kids started getting things that they need to compete against folks in other communities.
Absolutely.
And I think the investment, whether we do it here, but we as a community need to make investment in our schools because it's the investment in our biggest asset, that capital. Brain drain needs to be something we address. And so growing our own, in the economic world, we call it economic gardening, where we don't try and attract other businesses to come here. We try and grow our businesses so they can take over more market share. It is nice that we have some real assets here, though. We have a school district on the incline. We have a college here that a lot of rural communities would kill to have a college. We have an emerging campus, the second one of those in the country. We're starting to collaborate, which is really going to be our strength. How can we do things together? Attainable housing is something we are working on. Now that's something that it's very hard for the college, for the hospital, and for our school district and any of our bigger employers to employ someone when you don't have housing that they can live in. We ran into that with the mine. Lots of miners wanted to come here. They're staying at a hotel. Not a great way to do things. So that's something we will be looking at. And I think there's some good news on the horizons for that. Love the contractor program. Jerry had done some work with that with the college. I think there's some things we can do maybe there with regards to helping with pushing some contracting companies to maybe be mentors and opening up doors. So I think some of the things we can do is open up doors, okay? We have a letterhead. We may not use it enough. We'll start using that. So anytime you go out for a grant, and I'm speaking both for for the Urban Renewal Authority, TURA, but also for the Calexico Alliance, the old chamber there. Anytime you are going for a grant and you need somebody, you need a letter of support in that, just we'll get it to you the same day, maybe the next day. Okay, we want to really align ourselves with there. The alliance is coming. I'm blurring some stuff here, but I've got you guys here with me. So the Calexico Alliance is the chamber side of that. We're now creating a 501c3. I've asked our attorneys to stand that up by the end of this month. That'll be something that we can go out and get grants. Well, if we can go out and get grants, well, now we are the Bank of Calexico, and one of our three legs of our stool is creating a quality of life for our youngest and our oldest. Our kids, so they go away and say, Trinidad was a great place to grow up. I want to raise my family there. And our seniors say, gosh, I'm sure I stayed in this community, still cares about me. And so that's where we're going there. So we're not a funding source here, but we're working on that. The Alliance, we'd like to get a little more involved in the football field fundraising. Branson did a great job doing what they did. I think there's some things we can learn from their campaigns and what they did there. So we'd like to maybe belly up in there a little bit. From a direct financing perspective, we'd have to get so creative in trying to take any of our funds to move to the school district. We'd probably do something illegal. Okay. Because that's not our realm, okay? And I just want to be real clear with regards to us staying in our lane. But there's a lot of things we can do to support where you folks are. Financial literacy, I think that's something that we all need to try and look at too, and bringing that in there. We have kids that have been in that up and down economy, boom, bust, and sometimes there's this thing, we tried that before, or things are never really good. And I think there's a woe is me sometimes in our community of maybe things not being as aspirational. You know what I mean? And so I think folks knowing how to use money. And so we'll figure out a way to get with you guys on some of those kind of things.
Well, there's a new statute that we need to implement that in high school before they graduate. They'll have to have a financial literacy class in 2027.
We'll try and help you get some funding on that from some entities in the community that should be very interested in a financially illiterate populace. Okay, so this is the first kind of meet and greet, the way I look at it.
Yeah.
This is just our kind of opening conversation.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Look at what we do, and if you see some wrinkles in there of how we can help, again, construction program, Nick, I think we can do some things there, at least open the doors, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that the attainable housing, we can at least be communicating with you and get your input with regards to that, irrespective of where we are with our statutes. Our statute's 1348. It really locked out other entities that should be maybe involved at the table from a property tax perspective. We've kind of kept that just on our thing. I've been rallying on that for a long time. I like opening things up. I like a lot of people at the table. I like collaboration. I like great ideas coming from lots of different places. And you guys don't get a chance to really talk much about that property tax
Just to each
stuff.
other.
Yeah. So we'll
We
see.
talk about it all the time.
We'll see. And it affects Honey School District with the Cougar Canyon and that kind of craziness that's out there. So I think there's some things we can do, and so we'll work on that. If you do find things there, we would take the doors off if we ran this place. We don't have an open door policy. We don't have doors. Just come on in. Let us know how we can help. Love this guy next to us, and we know you got a good one there. He's got a real passion and a heart for our kids, and so we're proud to have him up here. Anybody else have anything? With that,
Thanks again for coming.
with that, we're grateful to you and what you're doing, and we look forward to finding opportunities.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, have a
We
good
like
night.
telling our story, because if we don't tell it, someone else will, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We gotta get ahead of it, right?
Thank you.
We got good news to share. Take care. All right, that was awesome. And I think there's some things we can do. Guys, get creative. Look at the stuff. We have access to the Downtown Colorado Inc., DCI. We have a lot of stuff in that back thing. If anybody wants to go down that rabbit hole with regards to how do urban renewal authorities help school districts, plunge. Go down that thing. There's got to be creative ways that we can help folks in our community.
Well, it's like the bumper sticker says, education doesn't cost, it pays.
Exactly. So so we'll see how that works out. I'm sure other areas have done some things there. let's move on. Let's do, we're gonna move to the update from our Pueblo URA visit. Jeff, I'll start with you. With regards to that.
Eye-opening. I think everybody that attended came away feeling the same way, that there are many creative ways to accomplish goals that we didn't even know existed, to tell you the truth. The director there, opened our eyes to a bunch of different possibilities. And I'm not a political person, but I did find out, some things that were pretty interesting there. And I think that this board can be creative in helping this town to keep going forward. And it was just a tremendous experience. So in the future, if anybody has the ability to attend one of these type of things, it's well worth it.
Very good, very good.
Absolutely. It was, we saw some parts of Pueblo that the city of Pueblo would rather we probably did not see. There's just they're much bigger than Trinidad, so they have many more rough spots, and just whole neighborhoods are declining. But he's found some ways to sort of halt that, at least halt it and then improve it. And I think that's, that obviously there would be hoops for us to jump through to be more involved with residential anything. But the main thing is that it's doable. Here's a town that everybody, Pueblo does not have the greatest reputation in the state of Colorado and elsewhere. And they are improving it house by house, block by block. And I think that's kind of, we have to narrow our focus sometimes on stuff to get, like you've talked about, Pat, where if we can have one really good success story, whether it's residential or commercial, that will then, that's the starter or the seed, the plant, to go, okay, we got one done and that went really well, let's see if we can do another. And it's gonna frustrate us because it's not going fast enough. But at the same time, if it goes well, it's a blueprint for future things. You heard about the construction program. There's a lot of that with the, it's not enchantment. What is the E word that they have that they're trying to build with the college?
Emerging campus.
Emerging campus, yeah. There's a fair amount of construction stuff in that, and I just think that can tie things together, because if you can say, well, in a couple of more years, we're going to have this cadre of construction-minded Trinidad youth that don't really want to go to Denver, don't really want to go to Colorado Springs to find work. They can find work here, fixing up what needs to be fixed. And there's plenty, we know too well, that there's plenty of opportunity, we'll just say that.
Very good.
So I agree that it was just eye-opening in the sense that here's a guy that's found a way to go between all the hoops and all the obstacles to get stuff done, and we saw it right in front of our faces, and it's just like, okay, that could work.
So, thank you. It was great for us to be there. And Tara will share some stuff when she comes in. After you guys, did me the service or disservice of putting me in the seat, the next day or so, I reached out to Tara and said, Tara, we've got to get a meeting going on with Pueblo. Because Pueblo in a lot of areas has a great reputation, and in their Urban Renewal Authority, they have a great reputation in the state there. They're held in high regard. And Jerry was really opening. So we had a Zoom meeting with them about a week or so after I sat here, okay? It was really important for us to learn from somebody else that knows those things. And Jerry was great then. They turned their board over. That's why it took a little time for us to get in there. I think their chair had some health issues. And so the interesting thing, and then prior to doing that, we had a chance, Nick, I, and Tara, to sit down with our Tara and Tara Marshall, our city manager. We had a chance to sit down and have about a half hour, maybe 40-minute meeting prepping to that. And our city manager had just a question. The question was, is it best for us to own a property or to work with a developer? Okay? And what we learned there, it was best for us to control the property. So it was neither of those two things. What they do a lot up in Pueblo is they will buy the property. They act as a developer. He sees himself as a developer. They will buy the property, but they will try and get the owner of the property at the same time. They kind of know when they get a piece of property who's going to take that piece of property over and take it into and manage it later on. That was a really good thing for us to understand as we look at things, okay? Tara has asked us to kind of move away, and actually the city's asked us to kind of move away from the housing area we started going on. What our previous board really tried to look at. We got 31 homes, we got 120. We were spending a lot of time in that vein, and there's real problems in that, as we've found. It just takes so long to do something, especially if somebody else owns it and they ghost the city. And so we saw some duplex things they're doing up there. We saw some ways to do that. For us, maybe a side test project, okay? The housing side. It's not like we are not going to look at that anymore, but we're going to let the city take a bigger lead in that because we just don't have the ability to do what we need to do there, okay? So what does that mean? We're going to look at commercial stuff. As I kind of alluded to early on, what we want to try and do is almost do like they do those pitch fests of entrepreneurs going to the VCs and saying, hey, I've got this idea and I just need some funding. We're not going to do it that same way, but we are reaching out, and I think Tara and Nick have already started that outreach. Am I correct, Nick?
Yeah, we at least are compiling a...
Exactly, so that's what we want to do. Who has properties here? And let's reach out to them and say, what would you like, if you could do something with your property, what would you like to do? How can TURA help you? And we're going to take those properties and we're going to try and find what that works out, and we're going to come and pick a project, okay? And when we pick that project, that's what our focus is on. And our focus will be to run that project through from start to finish, okay? And so that's going to happen here real soon, okay? We've invited Jerry, their director, who was their city manager.
I like the guy's name.
What's that?
I like the guy's name.
Those Jerrys, they're just awesome. So we invited him to come down. We'll put him up. We'll put him up in a hotel. I tell him, bring your family down. We'll get you on the kayaks. I really want you to understand what our community is kind of about. We're going to bring him down and we're going to give him a tour. After we have those buildings and those projects, we also are setting up a retreat, a work retreat with city manager. Our city manager sees herself as a urban renewal city manager. She knows exactly what our arrow in her quiver is. And so I think we're going to actually see a lot more support, but also maybe a little bit of guidance on some things that we may not have had in the past. And a lot of that has to do with just people are busy, and some people have different priorities. Okay, so I think that's a great thing for us. All right, so that retreat, we're going to be bringing in our attorney, Paul Benedetti. We've asked Kat from, she's the director of Downtown Colorado Inc. Okay, we've asked her to come there. What we want to do is get her some of those projects and then have them come back with some of the success models they've done in other places that kind of match our projects, so we can understand funding stack. How do you put things together? How do you do those kinds of things? And so we want that retreat, we want it to be a work session. That we're going in there grinding. Okay, we'll have some fun. We're thinking about maybe doing it at Monument Lake. That'd be a great time out there. Get out of this environment, in that environment. Let the nature kind of get our synapses firing a bit. You know, I would like to try and we're going to try and have that maybe August. We do the pitchy kind of thing. Get Nick and his team, Tara, to get us and get some folks presenting some stuff. That would mean September or so is when we get with the retreat right around there. Again, has to coordinate with a lot of people's schedules because we want to bring the folks in for that, which means most of the rest of this year, that's kind of what we're doing. Which quite frankly, there's a part of me that just hates that. I just want, well, I'm wired to get stuff done, but we're just got to look at that as getting stuff done. That's lining up. That's our supply chain. Okay, that's the logistics of where we need to be. So in the meantime, I want us to think about what other things can we do. Are there maybe to really close out 2025 in a way that we've done something? Okay, and so maybe that's relook at our budget and maybe look at increasing our facade grant area. Okay, maybe look at some things into that area and open that book up a little bit so we're still funding small progress, and not just having meetings. I want folks, when they think about the TURA, did they think about those are supposed to get stuff done? We see that doing those things. So that's kind of where that was. We've got a great relationship with Jerry. A good thing about that is that we had a commitment from him to mentor TURA. Okay, so we've got now. I love this. We've got now both Kat at CDI and Nick and Jerry at Pueblo's Urban Renewal Authority, looking at TURA as somebody they can invest time and knowledge in. So that's a great thing you can do for you folks. You know what I mean? And certainly Nick has access to anything we do.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it was great, and it's lined up a couple of things that will help us close out this year, going in the next year, kicking butt. You know what I mean? Doing some stuff. I would encourage the board. I want you to go out there and start. It's okay if you knock on doors. Now, 2 or 3 of you can't get together and knock on the door. That gets with our meetings kind of thing, okay? 2 or 3 of you can't get together and talk about stuff, okay? One-on-one meetings, okay? We can do those things all we want, okay? But I want you to start looking at who has buildings, who has projects. If you have something, match that with TURA, so when they're building this list, we're doing some input on them, okay? We'll certainly, we know who some of the players are, certainly the Kip Hampton's Chimino group, Carl and his group, Lisa and her, Akili and their group, so we know some of the players. But you know what, there are some folks here that have properties that aren't any of those big names. And I want us to find them. Just folks that, they got that house or that building from great-great-grandpa, and I think we can do stuff there. So I know I belabored a lot of that, but to me, that was a really important meeting. And it was one of what I hope to be many. And you get a chance to do that, do it, okay? That was that. Old business? I know of none, okay?
Are there any updates on either of our?
We'll get the updates in a sec.
Okay.
New business? I know of none right now. So in new businesses segment right here, anybody want to propose something for our next meeting, which will have a work session? We'll go back to that work session thing there. Anybody have anything for that, please?
I would like to elaborate on just what you just talked about. I'd like to revisit what we just talked about now.
Okay.
I know for constraint of time and being that, but through the work session, I'd like to be able to say.
Talk more about the
what we just
retreat?
talked about, yeah.
The retreat and the
Yeah.
okay, great.
Yeah, because I
Hey,
want
can
to
we
make
throw
sure
that on
they're
there for TURA?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just want to be sure I'm there on everything.
And again, I'm for focus. So if anybody doesn't have anything else, we'll put our focus on that one. But if you have something, throw it out there. Anybody have anything they'd like to put into that pile? Awesome. Report by planning assistant. We have the leader of that crew with us right now.
Yeah.
Nick, you got anything for us?
No, not too much. Just that the city manager Tara, she's very well versed in urban renewal. So I'm going to learn a lot from her. I've already learned a lot. Tara's learned a lot from her, and she has a lot of good connections to help us with this. She's not going to just she's going to put a lot of focus on getting this board to do some good stuff. So she knows how important this board is to the city. So she's going to be very helpful in getting some traction in some of these projects. And then the other thing from kind of my side, the development services side, I do want to say, and this is probably not, but just on the affordable housing, in the last 2 months, we've had 13 houses break ground in City View Heights. Stick-built homes, those are all affordable housing. That's actually home ownership. It's through a land trust. They do a land trust on the land. It's kind of complicated, but
Is
it's
that
actually
on the north side?
yes, on the north side between over off Camillus. So those broke ground. There's 13 of those, all affordable housing. And like I said, home ownership, which is kind of different for affordable housing. A lot of people think affordable housing usually think rent. So
I like saying affordable housing is government subsidized. This is attainable housing. This is housing somebody can attain and own.
this is true. I don't know exactly the price point. We've talked a little bit, but it's going to be very for a brand new home. It's going to be very attainable, which is awesome. And then there's a 40 unit apartment complex. They got funded through CHAFA, a 9% LIHTC award for their tax credit. This is a 30 to 60% AMI, so it's truly.
Is that the convent?
No.
Okay.
So that's up there near City View Heights as well. Between North and Camillus, there's a big field. Next to there's a couple apartment complexes there. It's that field next to it. So there'll be another apartment complex there. Brand new build, Commonwealth Development, which is huge, big company. They're the one doing it. So they got their award. They do CHAFA funding. So those will be moving forward, as well as the 43 units down the street here on Holy Trinity. They got a CHAFA loan. Those usually have better interest rates. So they have all their funding stacked finally to get their project moving, and they will be moving here within the next couple months as well. So, or probably next year, probably when they're thinking about breaking ground on the actual building. Building's been remediated. It's ready to go to start actual construction. So they're going to start from a good place. But with all that, that's going to be just under 100 units of affordable housing that the city's helped these developers get from the last couple months. So there's a lot. It was like 2 years before. 2 years of work, but that was the last 2 months we kind of finally got them all put together. So there'll be a lot more housing. That doesn't include the other stuff that's going on. There's other housing going on.
Tell you what, the community needs to tip the hat with, and again, reputations, right? How people perceive things. When I think the program was Housing Now, right? The state put out
The
there.
Housing Now is the trigger for most of this.
Okay, we're ahead of that. We're one of the only communities, we're one of the few communities in the state that got ahead of that early.
Yeah.
And we're well ahead of that. And so housing is a problem everywhere. But our city council and our building folks need a big tip of the hat with regards to jumping on there, because we are doing better than almost anybody else, certainly any of our peer communities. Yeah. Okay, we're setting a standard on that, and I just want to make sure that we let folks know, because there's all these things the city's not doing or whatever. It's this hard work,
Sure.
but they are doing a lot of work in attainable and affordable housing.
Any chance of us meeting Tara Marshall? I haven't met her. I don't know who she is. So.
She visited. I think you missed that meeting. She was here last meeting.
I would be
Yes.
surprised if she does come to the next meeting. I think she was busy this afternoon, and just because she knew this one was going to be kind of brief.
Yeah.
But I think for your work session, I think she would probably come. She's going to go in most meetings, is my understanding. So.
Yeah. And then we have the retreat.
Yeah, she's very good.
Okay. Thanks. Nick.
That's all I have.
That's great. Well, that's great news. Commissioners, anybody has any reports?
No, just a quick question, Nick.
Please.
What is anticipated?
ETA?
Yeah, move-in date, whatever you want to call it. I'm assuming spring of 2026.
I'm trying to think.
It's going to vary by
Yeah, it's going to vary.
project.
The apartment complex, they're looking to pull their building permit by the end of, or in Q4, because they have so much. They don't put a ton of in-depth detail into their construction drawings until they get awarded their funding, then they know they can afford to do all that. So they're in that process now. So it does take a little bit. They have a little bit of leeway there, but I imagine they're going to be by 2026. At least that 40 units of apartments will be completed. The 13 stick-built homes, I really don't know. That's going to be tough. 13 houses. I believe you could ask Commissioner Bagley. 13 houses is quite a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
To stick-built home.
But there's people that can do it.
Yeah.
There's been, if they come in with if they've done it a few times, they can get after it.
Yeah. So and the good thing about that is there's always going to be something to do because their houses are all next to each other. So we're gonna pour a foundation here, and we'll get to pour that one and that one. So they'll move pretty fast, but I really don't know when their completion date will be.
Okay.
And then as far as the Holy Trinity, that one's probably gonna be a couple years out, just because the city has to do quite a bit of utility work. So there's a big project the city's gonna be completing on Church Street, Convent Street, to redo the streets themselves. They'll end up looking beautiful, just like First Street does. But the utilities is the main thing there. We're going to be replacing utility lines, sewer line, point repair. So just to get that building all it needs, because right now it's a school that has one water tap and one sewer, and then you have an apartment complex, 43 people or 43 units. You need a lot more than that one tap. It's not going to do the job. So
Excellent.
yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any reports, whatever? Okay. Chair report. There will be some bills coming up. I have offered Jerry from Pueblo to come on up here. I think if he's going to come up here and do this things, I think we're going to put him up for the night. We'll work out with some hotel and that kind of thing. So that'll be coming. We'll also be spending some money with Paul Benedetti, our attorney. I wanted to go through what we just did up with Jerry. Tara and I, Nick, you're always welcome to those things. We're going to set together maybe a Zoom meeting with Paul, bring him up to date to where we've been since the first of the year, and have him kind of advise us before we go into that retreat. I want to just kind of talk to him a little bit. So there will be some legal
Could
fees that we're
Jerry be
going to.
invited to the retreat instead of?
I'm debating my mind with that. I think Jerry's the kind of guy that will actually have a lot of answers, and I want our team to really have the answers. I want to put the spotlight on our team, on Kat, and on our city manager right now, rather than have somebody from someplace else kind of come in. I really want him to be kind of on the side right now as we put our team together. But yeah, I keep thinking that he'd be good, but I want us to kind of close door that a little bit, if that's okay. Outside of that, I would love to hear a motion to adjourn.
We'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right.